Peace, happy and healthy family and friends.
Yeah, happy new day with Ari J.
That's what it is right now.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. First, before going forward, we would like to thank everybody who has viewed, we'll take that, has viewed our first airing yesterday. How do you think it went?
It went well. It was a little rough and bumpy at the beginning, but all in all, each day we get a little bit better, and we'll just take it to the next level.
Yes, indeed.
So what are we doing?
I'm excited about today. We are going to share, how did we meet?
Okay.
Yes, and the space is touched. Definitely smells good. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Queens first.
Really? How did we meet?
How did we meet?
Where did we meet?
Ooh. Yes, it's crazy because it's only been such a short time, even though it seems like we've been together forever.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people assume that we've been together for a long time.
Yeah, a little bit over a year. Yeah, just a little bit over a year. We met in this lifetime. We met on March 5th last year. Yeah, so it's been 13 months now? Almost 13.
Oh, yeah. Goodness, yes, it has been.
Wow. Yeah, it's been an amazing ride, though, because we've been through so much in a short time.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about it is good and the bad and the other, we're together stronger than ever. And a lot of times you have to go through it to get to it, to realize, what you have and how important it is and what it really means to you. And how much and the value in what you have. And I couldn't imagine being without you moving forward. So so it's been an amazing run.
Hello.
It's been an amazing run.
Yes, it has. And it started March 5th. That was the day that we're speaking from our own perspective. I went to a honors yoga retreat. It was, it was not, I wasn't planning to go to this retreat. And suddenly I had the money and I was on my way. So I booked everything, got there. I had some difficulties finding the place because by the time I got there, it was so dark. I was severely late. But I finally found the house where the retreat was taking place. And I walked up to the door with my luggage and my yoga mat. And this man, it was very clear, man. He opened the door and I looked up. I was like, oh, okay. Because I've been to one of these retreats before, right? But I never saw him or any kind of variation. No one. So I looked up, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, he's let me just get in the house. So then I got in the house and I just kept feeling this attraction, intrigue. I was intrigued. Yes. And then you smelled so good because we had to do different exercises to, to get the crowd bonded together. And yeah, you and I did the first exercise of the retreat. And it's been, never since. No, but it's been amazing. And that was my intro to you. And then we can go into the rest of the weekend where I kept catching your eye. You kept catching mine. Certain things that we would share with the group, I felt resonated. And I felt more familiar with you. And I was attracted, but I kept everything very clear with the group and everything. That was the first time, actually, I'm just noticing that was the first time I mentioned out loud to a group that I love myself. Like, I love me, and so you got a chance to witness that. And then too, although we're at this retreat, I made it very clear I'm celibate, and I have been since August 2019. And I shared a lot of intimate details about myself. So it was kind of a fast forward for you to get to know me.
Yeah.
And here we are now. Absolutely. And I'm sure I'll fill in some things as I think about some things, but how did we meet?
How did we meet? So I had a similar situation go on with the retreat because initially I had something planned with my children that weekend, and so I hadn't planned to go. And from multiple directions, I had been getting invites and, hey, you need to be here, and they're having a sacred sexuality retreat in your backyard, and your tantra skills would come in handy. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, yeah, but I got plans. And it were I was getting invites from different, across the country, saying that I need to be at this retreat. And I was like, okay, well, I guess it's for some reason I really need to be here. And so I went to the retreat, and I was sitting, and, the people there, everybody there was real cool. And I was like, well, there's something missing. There's something Lord, why am I here? What is my purpose in coming here? Above and beyond just, seeking enlightenment, having a great time, in the course of the weekend. And then I recall feeling real anxious and antsy as we were all sitting in the living room at the Airbnb, and I kept looking over the door, and I was like, almost like a kid at Christmas time. I mean, it was like we waiting for the presents to come, to show up under the tree, or get the green light to actually go look under the tree. And then all of a sudden there was a knock at the door, and I looked, and I jumped up and got over to the door to make sure that nobody else got to the door first. And when I opened the door, there she was. There you were. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't even know what I said. It might have been like greetings and peace or whatever I could, because I lost all thoughts just disappeared. And so I probably said blah, 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 I don't know, something. But anyway, that's in that moment, I knew my purpose in being there. Mm-hmm. And I knew my purpose in my purpose, period. And I fell in love with you on the spot. Yeah.
That's deep.
And we've been riding You've been riding tight ever since.
Yeah. March 5th. And
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been a phenomenal ride. We've been through to the mountaintops of Malibu, to the deserts of shoot, paralysis,
yeah.
to yeah, to traveling across country, homeless. Now we're homeowners. I mean, went from being homeless to homeowners to car owners to ups and downs, things that would normally tear a couple apart in a heartbeat. And granted, there was some days where it was like, I was looking at her, she's looking at me like, but it was always, we gonna make it one way or another. And that is absolutely, we look within, and then we look within each other, and then we grow stronger that way. And it's made us tighter than ever. Yeah, but in order to get to that point, the number one thing that needed to happen was, for me, well, actually for us, is that we needed to become the person that we desired to be with.
This is true.
And that's the topic for today, is the importance of becoming who you want to be with. Because, you all familiar with my background. It's from my childhood, it was built on my relationship to women was, completely toxic, consciously and unconsciously, from what, transpired with my mother. And so, I love my mom. I love her to pieces, but at the same time, through all of the abuse and whatnot, even though I had suppressed those memories until I got into my 40s, they were still affecting me. And they flowed into each of my relationships on one level or another. And so once I started to heal, not that any of the women that I was with were bad in any way, shape, or form. They're beautiful. I love them all. But there's a level of, as I grew and matured, and, we were good for each other in that moment. And then, people evolve in different directions. And so through that evolution, it brought me to you. And through the good times and the bad times and the ups and downs and failed relationships, it prepared me to be able to appreciate what we have. Because given the way that I was brought up, had I not done the shadow work before we got together, I would have figured out some way to self-sabotage this a long time ago. I would have just torpedoed, blew it up. It would have been done. It would have been nothing left.
Bless you. And I do feel the same way. My past relationships were building blocks, building me, because you really don't know what you want until you know what you don't want.
Right.
And me going through enough of what I didn't want, what I didn't deserve, what I didn't desire, I stayed to myself. I was single for some time before I went to the retreat. And let it be clear, I was not looking for a relationship. I wasn't going to hook up with anybody. I was just going, I was just going to commune with like-minded, like-spirited, like-hearted individuals, which we met quite a few people. And
Yeah,
they saw
lifelong
exactly.
system.
They saw
Lifelong friends.
our beginning, and that's the beautiful thing. There are witnesses to the start of everything. But like you said, before I even knew what shadow work was, you know, I was, you know, doing it on myself, going through, writing out lists. What do I want? What do I not want? You know, being specific, because sharing your life with someone, that's not a sitcom that to show you how to do it. There's no manual for it. And I'll go back to loving self is the beginning of it all. You know, it was when I could say and acknowledge that I love me, that there was an attraction there, because I had fully, you know, took myself on as first in my life. And then I can afford to have a love.
Right.
And I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And so, yes. So the big takeaway from this is I hear it so many times, especially from my clients, that they can't find a good man, or there are no good men out there, or they're, you know, the pickings are thin. And yes, there are. I mean, to a certain extent, that is true in a way, but there's the right one for you. And the people that you're attracting, yes, it's true that opposites attract in certain circumstances, but that speaks to opposites attract in a way that balances you out. And so if a person's overly one way, they'll attract somebody in the opposite spectrum to help bring them back into alignment. Everything in life is about balance. Balance in health, balance in spirit, balance in relationships, balance in mind, body, and soul. And so for whatever reason, when you're out of balance, the universe is going to work its way to bring you back into balance. And so if you have somebody that's the total opposite of you, typically that means that you're on an extreme end, one way or another. And so that person is to show you how to come back, and then you both meet in the middle. More than most of the time, though, like attracts like. You attract who you are. We are mirror images of each other, and I can attest to that in every way. Does that mean we're going to agree all the time? No. Does that mean that we're going to always get along? Well, actually, we kind of do get along all the time. Have we ever had an argument?
No.
No, we have discussions. Huh? Yeah.
Because we're mature. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, no, we haven't had that. We've had some intense discussions per se, but it's nothing that you would consider an argument, and that's because we respect each other's opinion, we respect each other's viewpoint, we respect ourselves.
There we go.
And so because we respect ourselves, we would never disrespect the other. And so, I mean, why would I disrespect you in any way, shape, or form? I love you. And so you don't disrespect the people that you love and that you're close to. You don't disrespect anybody, but especially your mate. And so a lot of times when we see people tearing each other down, look back to the way they were brought up. Look at the relationships of the people that they looked up to. Because a lot of times you pretty much know how a person is going to function. Not all the time, but most of the time, when you look at their parents' relationship. And so, what was it? A dual parent household? If there was a dual parent household, what's the relationship between the mother and the father? Because chances are that's that person's scope, how they view life and what relationships are supposed to look like. And so, and if you didn't have anything, had a toxic upbringing per se, like I did, then you have to learn that. And you have to understand that there's some things that you're going to have to learn and grow into because your frame of understanding is skewed. It's toe up. And you're going to bring that. And what the reason why most people have the issues they have is because they're operating in the shadows. The shadow is what's controlling them and what's guiding them. And so when things come up, happen, they get triggered. And the minute they get triggered, they switch back into whatever they saw growing up. And so the moms was, off the chain, yelling and cussing and fussing them out, chances are they gonna do that. Is there those that do the exact opposite of what their family, the toxic situation, they act in the opposite manner? Yes, a lot of times, but a lot of times it's totally opposite, almost to the point where it's to their detriment. Yeah. And so I've seen that in the past as well. And so ultimately, more times than not, when you become what you desire, that's what you'll attract because, when I look at you, it's like looking in the mirror. And so when I say I feel beautiful, it's because I'm with you.
Oh,
yes, I can look at you and see how beautiful I am.
Yes, you are very beautiful.
More beautiful was you, baby.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes. And working on self, dedicating time, single time to do so, I enjoyed that most. Upon meeting you, I felt so strong within, independent of anyone else. And everyone before going into any relationship, they should have some invested time within.
Yes.
You owe it to yourself because once you have what you want, that's a responsibility, having a relationship, because it is that mirror. What am I looking at in the mirror? I'm looking at me reflected on to another person and vice versa. So you would want to know yourself very well before going into a relationship with a whole nother person, with a whole another set of values, perhaps, or grew up in different ways. You want to spend that time with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I just want to touch on one more point. When you come into a relationship, in order for it to really be truly successful, you need to be whole, or at least really working on making yourself whole. Because, you hear that term, my better half. Like, no, because that just makes you into one. It needs to be two wholes coming together. And now you have twice as much in your oneness. And that's what a lot of times people miss, because it's like, my better half. I know it's just a colloquialism and whatnot, but at the same time, there's definitely something, a takeaway from that is you need to come whole within your relationship, or be working towards becoming whole, so that now you are you complement each other in your wholeness. Mm-hmm. And now you have twice as much as you had before, not the other half of what you needed to have before.
One of the most grueling, horrible parts of a movie that I saw. Someone can give me the name of it, but You Complete Me. That's sad. Mm-hmm. To depend on someone else to make you feel or to be whole. I when I met you, I was a 5-star general. Yeah, I am, and that's what came into that door. And then you came up in all of your divineness. And we've been rocking ever since.
Yes.
Yeah, so and it's those two strong links that are able to work together and pull through everything so far. And looking forward to the upcoming things to come in our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I know, it's been phenomenal. Yeah, I can't wait today to make it official.
I'm shy, but yeah, yes, I look forward to that as well.
Indeed. So, with that being said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Hit us in the DM, text us, whatever works best for you. And we love you all.
Love you guys, definitely.
I love you.
I love you.
Yes, and we love you.
Yes, that's true.
All right. So blessings, peace and love, and lots and lots and lots of abundance.
Travel light. Peace.